Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, I wanted to talk about this top-ranked main event that took place because to me, this was the clear highlight of the night and the pleasant surprise of the night on this card. Now, Oscar Valdez was supposed to make his debut at super featherweight against Gutierrez, and this guy Gutierrez came in 11 pounds overweight. I believe the weight limit's like 130. He came in at like 141. So they had to find a late replacement opponent on like 40 hours short notice. And that's very difficult to do when we talk about finding late replacements. So what top ranked Bob Arum and all parties involved did was they just looked on the card and they picked a fighter that was already fighting on the card and offered this fighter a fight, and that fighter came in the form of Adam Lopez. Now, Adam Lopez is a 23-year-old, for those of you who don't know, a 23-year-old featherweight boxer. He fights at 126, but they offered him a fight at 130 to step up and fight Oscar Valdez. And Adam Lopez behaved like a fighter. He took the fight because he believed he could win. And Adam Lopez he's the son of Hector Lopez, who boxed for Mexico in the Olympics back in the 80s. I believe he won a gold medal. Don't quote me on that one, but I know he is the son of Hector Lopez, so boxing runs in his blood. He had known Oscar Valdez from when they were kids. He even, had many interactions with Oscar Valdez when they were kids. So they were familiar with each other. They knew each other, and he always thought this day would come. He always thought he would fight Oscar Valdez one day, and when the opportunity came, he took the fight. So I'm watching this fight. I'm sitting here with my dad, right? And I'm watching. I'm watching what Adam Lopez is saying. How he's talking in the interviews and stuff. And you know what? The more he talked, for some strange reason, I just started to believe him because he sounded so convincing. Like he really believed in himself. And I told my dad, I was like, look, a fighter that believes in himself, a fighter that has nothing to lose. So it's a tough guy to beat. And then when you factor in Valdez fighting in a new weight class, it was gonna be a tough assignment for Oscar Valdez. So I even told my dad, I think this guy might have a chance to win tonight. So the fight happens, right? And this guy, Adam Lopez, at 130, he's pushing 5'9". He's long, lanky. He knows how to use his jab. And because he knew how to use his jab, he was outboxing Oscar Valdez. He was outboxing Oscar Valdez. He was mixing in the right hand. He was slipping shots. He was countering. He was putting on a boxing masterclass exhibition for the majority of this fight. And, it was really one of the best performances I've seen in quite some time. Now, the result of the fight didn't go his way. He got controversially stopped in the 7th round. Oscar Valdez came on strong, hit him a couple times, hurt him. And the referee, I think, waved it out prematurely. Had he been afforded the chance to continue, there was only 7 seconds left in the 7th round when he got stopped. And I think he would have made it out the 7th round. He probably would have recovered, and he probably would have got back on his jab and could continue doing what he's doing. But that is neither here or there. Buddy McGirt was his trainer. Buddy McGirt had him prepared to win on the night. He believed he could win, and I think he should win. Now, this fight against Valdez, and the result of it should be held against him because of the fact that, number one, it was on short notice, and number two, he jumped up a weight class. He had to jump up a weight class. Fighting at 130 at a weight class that's not, really his natural weight class. He's a featherweight, 126. So, I like Adam Lopez. I like this kid a lot, man. And I did some homework on him. And his only loss prior to this one, he fought Stephen Fulton back in 2017. He lost to him, and Stephen Fulton's a good fighter. So he's only lost to 2 good fighters. And the second fight where he lost against Valdez, I thought he was boxing Valdez's head off, and I don't want to use the word exposed, but I mean he kind of was a little bit. And Stephen Fulton, he fought to a majority decision. So he's had 2 fights in his career where it could have went either way. It really could have went either way. But he leaves that fight with his stock on the rise, and I'm just impressed. I like him, and I want to see more of him. I want to see more of him on TV. I want ESPN, Top Rank, and all parties involved to give him more opportunities, and fair play to Bob Arum. He said, if you lose this fight against Valdez, we're not going to hold it against you because you're coming here on short notice. You're jumping up a weight class. That's not yours, so we understand. You're going to give him opportunities. So I hope they hold true to their word and give him opportunities because this kid can fight his ass off. This kid can fight his ass off. I mean, we're talking about 5'9", long, rangy, educated jab, great combination puncher, fantastic counterpuncher, good head movement. He's someone that's exciting to watch. And it's all hearsay. I'm going to say this again. It's all hearsay. It's all hypotheticals. But I really think if the referee would have gave him a chance to finish that 7th round, he would have came out in the 8th. He would have got back on his jab, and he would have kept outboxing Oscar Valdez, because Oscar Valdez, look, despite the fact that Oscar Valdez was a 2-time amateur for Mexico and represented Mexico in the Olympics twice, his style is that of somebody who wants to go to war. And Eddie Reynoso, ever since he got with Oscar Valdez, he's been trying to work on him with refining that style, not getting him into wars and whatnot. But on this particular night, he ran into a buzzsaw of a guy who knew how to use his jab, who knew how to be educated in his boxing skills and apply it. And Valdez, for the most part, while he remained dangerous, pressing forward, he didn't really look the best, and I thought he looked very confused. Now, he was fortunate that he's good at placing his shots, and that he's good that he's learned over the years how to place his shots and hurt his opponents. And he jumped on him, and the referee, in my humble opinion, no hate on Oscar Valdez, I'm a fan personally of Oscar Valdez, but in my opinion, the referee jumped in early, and it benefited him by stopping the fight prematurely. I'll be honest with you. But Adam Lopez, all I'm saying is he could fight his ass off, and it was a pleasant surprise, because I didn't really expect that from him. I thought, before I saw the interviews and did a little bit of homework on him as the fight got closer, I didn't really believe that this is going to be anything more than another routine title defense for Oscar Valdez. But it actually wound up being a better fight than the original fight would have been, because this guy was motivated, he had nothing to lose, he was dangerous, and he fought probably the best fight of his life. And, I think that's a fight. Adam Lopez, they asked him after the fight, they said, Adam, what are you going to do? Are you going to stay at 130, or are you going to go back to featherweight and fight at 126? And he said he's going to go back to fight at 126, but if they want to do a rematch with Valdez at 130, or any other big opportunities come back at 130, that he would be fantastic, that he would be no problem. He'd be at 130. So I'll say this, look, I haven't had a chance to really watch his fights at 126, so I'm speaking from an uneducated place, but watching him fight at 130, he looked very strong. He looked like he was capable at the weight. When he hit Oscar Valdez, he got his attention, because his punches come from an educated position. They come back really well, and the speed, the placement. I'm a fan of this guy. I'm not gonna lie to you. This fight made me become a fan of Adam Lopez. I really want to see him fight some more. I want to see him push onwards and upwards towards bigger and better things in boxing, because to go in there with a fighter like an Oscar Valdez on short notice in a weight class that is not your natural weight class, and fight the way he did, to be honest with you, I don't think before the stoppage, I don't think you could give Oscar Valdez more than 2 rounds. I probably had him up. I had Lopez up like 5-1 before the stoppage, because Valdez was getting pieced up by the jab. His rhythm and timing was completely offset by the jab, by the feints. Every time this guy would feint, or many times when this guy would feint, Valdez would move and kind of show his cards and what he was going to do next, because that's what feinting is for. When you feint, it's to get the opponent to move and pretty much show his cards and create openings for you. And that's what he did in this fight. That's what Adam Lopez did time and time again. So just all I can say, if you don't take nothing away from this video, is that this kid can fight his ass off. And if you didn't get a chance to see his performance, I know he didn't win. I know he wasn't fortunate enough to get to continue fighting because of the referee's, what I believe, premature stoppage. But if that guy shows up to the ring at 126 and 130, he's going to be a problem for anybody in the featherweight and super featherweight division. So that being said, shout out to Adam Lopez on a good performance. Shout out to Oscar Valdez on finding a way to win. But I really do think Oscar Valdez still needs to continue getting better and refining that style, because when he ran into a buzzsaw of a boxer, of a pure boxer, of a rangy boxer who knew how to use his jab and throw from an educated place, he kind of I saw him revert back to some of his older habits. So that's something that Eddie Reynoso is going to have to work on. But only time will tell what happens with Oscar Valdez. And there's big fights for him there. I would anticipate for Oscar Valdez next year that he looks to try to be in a big title fight. The one fight that was being thrown around out there is a all-Mexican super fight with him and Miguel Berchelt. Now, I'll tell you this right now. If Miguel Berchelt and Oscar Valdez fight next year, that's going to be fireworks. That is going to be like Eric Morales, Marco Antonio Barrera-esque type of action. And you can take that to the bank. That when and if that fight happens next year, I'm pegging it as a fight of the year before it even happens, because there's no way that fight isn't going to be guaranteed all-out action, blood and guts, Mexican style, Azteca warrior, boxing. I think that's what it'll be. So, hopefully it happens next year. But if not, I'll love to see the rematch for this fight because I think Adam Lopez will have a great chance at beating Oscar Valdez in the rematch. So yeah, shout out to Adam Lopez on a hell of a performance. He did his father proud, and he did himself proud in the ring this past Saturday night. But if you had a chance to watch the fight, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below about Adam Lopez and his performance. If there's any insights on Adam Lopez that maybe you guys can give me, drop those in the comments as well. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just Kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care.